Today's top stories. Better batteries, Kino. A high-performance Ractor web server for Ruby 4, this company's plans to deploy space mirrors could jeopardize the night sky for many. When AI designs a drug, who gets the credit? The download. Threats from space mirrors and credit for AI drugs. Tesla sunsets its solar roof tiles. OpenAI is gaining on Anthropic with business users. New data indicates. Learn what VCs actually want from a founder who's raised $1 billion. AI data startup Micro One reaches $500 million gross run rate amid AI training boom, and Senator asks U.S. government watchdog to review how feds use hacking tools. We start with better batteries. Better batteries. Better batteries, one of the eternal schisms in programming, is over the question of whether the standard library should be minimal or encompassing. This is the wrong question to ask. The right one is, Python is always brought up as example of leaky batteries exploding in slow motion, but this has nothing to do with size. The problem with Python's stdlib is its uneven quality. Some standard library modules don't follow language naming conventions. You know which Unitist module I am talking about, but even that is not a mistake. It's actually Python Core's advantage, that it makes functionality available early, not thinking about the future too much. That's how we ended up with ossified CAPI, which makes CPython the language, but that is also how we ended up with Python powering data scientific revolution. The Go standard library is similarly encompassing, but it is held in a high regard. Go team has institutional capacity to deliver well-designed API for the standard library, and then some. https://pkg go dev/golang org/x rust is an interesting case. The one standard library APIs are brilliant. Collections and iterators are a work of art. But it also feels that while the Kino, a high-performance Ractor web server for Ruby 4. Kino is a high-performance Ractor web server for Ruby 4+. Ruby threads cannot run Ruby code in parallel, so production setups fork a process per core and pay for each copy in memory. Kino runs your code on every core in one small process. A Rust Tokyo plus Hyper frontend owns the network, parallel Ractors run your Rack 3 app, and a threaded fallback mode runs everything else, Rails included. Fast. On a real 8-core server, every Kino mode is 1.5-2 times ahead of a Puma fork cluster on I/O light endpoints. Ractor mode also wins on pure CPU, 30% plus. Benchmarks below. A fraction of the memory, about 7 times on the simplistic bench Ractor app, and about 4 times less memory than a Puma cluster serving Rails in fallback threaded mode. Parallel without forking. Ractor mode runs CPU work more than 5 times faster than Kino's own GVL-bound threaded mode, in the same small process. Production plumbing included. Graceful drain, crash supervision and respawn, bounded queues with 503 backpressure, request timeouts, hardened intake, slow loris and TLS handshake deadlines, connection and body size caps, an on-error hook for your error tracker, TLS Russells, live stats, async access, and app logging. Tells yo. This company's plans to deploy space mirrors could jeopardize the night sky for many. This company's plans to deploy space mirrors could jeopardize the night sky for many. Reflect orbital's giant beams will shine as bright as 10,000 full moons and scatter light over tens of kilometers. A company that plans to beam sunlight from space to Earth on demand might unintentionally brighten the night sky for many more people than intended, according to a new study. Later this year, the U.S. company Reflect Orbital plans to launch a test satellite called Arendelle-1 that will extend an 18 by 18 meter mirror in orbit. The goal is to test the feasibility of the company's plans to launch up to 50,000 larger satellites, measuring 54 by 54 meters, and reflect sunlight to Earth on demand. The case for doing this remains somewhat uncertain, but Reflect Orbital has said the goal is to prolong the hours of sunlight for various uses, including solar panel charging, emergency response, and military activities. The launch, which was approved by the Federal Communications Commission in July, has been met with disbelief by astronomers and environmental groups. This is incompatible with astronomy, says Samantha Lawler, an astronomer at the University of Regina in Canada. There is no way you. When AI designs a drug, who gets the credit? When AI designs a drug, who gets the credit? Patents can only name humans as inventors. For now. When the biotech company In Silico Medicine used its computer models to propose a promising drug for pulmonary fibrosis, It enthusiastically claimed in a press release that the molecule had been discovered by its generative AI platform. In Silico leads a pack of companies using AI to rapidly come up with drug ideas humans might never think of, potentially speeding the race to new cures. AI models are now able to generate atomic designs for drugs almost as easily as ChatGPT can write a thank you note. However, when it came time to file for an all-important patent to protect that new chemical structure, the company made no mention of AI. Instead, the patent names 5 humans, including CEO Alex Zhavoronkov, as the drug's inventors. The discrepancy points to a fascinating wrinkle in intellectual property law. No matter how fundamental an AI is to a discovery, when it comes to winning rights to an invention, it's humans and only humans who can take the credit. U.S. courts reached that conclusion after Ryan Abbott, a partner at the L.A. law firm Brown, Neri, Smith & Kahn, brought a pro bono test. The download, threats from space mirrors and credit for AI drugs. The download, threats from space mirrors and credit for AI drugs plus. The data center backlash is scrambling the midterm elections. This is today's edition of The Download, our weekday newsletter that provides a daily dose of what's going on in the world of technology. This company's plans to deploy space mirrors could jeopardize the night sky for many a company that plans to beam sunlight from space to Earth on demand, might unintentionally brighten the night sky for many more people than intended, according to a new study. Later this year, Reflect Orbital plans to launch a test satellite that will extend an 18 by 18 meter mirror in orbit. The goal is to eventually launch up to 50,000 larger satellites that can reflect sunlight to Earth on demand. Reflect Orbital says the technology could extend sunlight for solar panel charging, emergency response, and military activities. But new research suggests the giant beams could shine as bright as 10,000 full moons and scatter light over tens of kilometers, raising concerns about dark skies, aviation, and wildlife. Read the full story on the fierce debate over the space mirrors. Jonathan O'Callaghan when AI designs a drug, who gets this? Tesla sunsets its solar roof tiles. Tesla has discontinued solar roof, its solar panels designed to look like regular roofing tiles, Electrek reports. Sources, close to the program, told the publication that Tesla has informed its third-party installer network that solar roof is no longer available to order, and that only conventional solar panels will be supplied going forward. Tesla sunsets its solar roof tiles. The company has reportedly concluded the product is financially unviable. While Tesla hasn't officially announced that it's sunsetting the product, it's made several website changes that corroborate the reported discontinuation. The dedicated solar roof page, Tesla.com/solarroof, that launched almost a decade ago now automatically redirects to Tesla's solar panel page instead, and the solar roof option is no longer available under the navigation menu for Tesla energy products. The only products currently listed are solar panels, Powerwall, and Megapack. Tesla first revealed the solar roof project back in 2016, but only achieved mass production in March 2020. It was never a successful venture for Tesla. CEO Elon Musk admitted in 2021 that the company made significant mistakes with solar roof that caused OpenAI is gaining on Anthropic with business users, new data indicates. Until both OpenAI and Anthropic get close enough to their planned IPOs to release their financials, we have to look to other sources for signs of how well their businesses are doing. One of those sources, Ramp, the corporate credit card and expense management company, has just released some surprising new data. OpenAI has started gaining on Anthropic with U.S. businesses. OpenAI, which was once the runaway leader with both businesses and consumers, lost the lead among Ramp's paying business users back in May. That's when Anthropic hit 41% market share to OpenAI's 39%. The ChatGPT maker has never regained that lead. As of July, Anthropic has nearly 44% to OpenAI's nearly 40%. The data covers more than 70,000 American businesses that spend billions via Ramp's bill pay and corporate card products. Ramp's customers are spread across industries, but as a popular Silicon Valley corporate credit card, they do skew toward the tech industry. A closer look at the most recent data, according to Ramp economist Ara Karazian, shows that OpenAI is currently growing faster among this segment in Q3 to date than Anthropic. Mind you, there's still a month left in the quarter, and that's like 30 AI ye. Learn what VCs actually want. from a founder who's raised 1B. Investors want founders who understand the financial reality of their business. Messy data, misunderstood metrics, or waiting until you're nearly out of cash to start fundraising can cost founders leverage, valuation, and even a term sheet. In this episode of Build Mode, host Isabel Johannessen sits down with Sasha Orloff, founder and CEO of puzzle and startup Battlefield Alum, to talk about what he's learned from building companies that have raised more than $1 billion collectively. Sasha breaks down what investors look for during fundraising, which financial metrics founders should know by heart, and why VCs don't expect your startup to be perfect. They just expect you to understand its reality. He also shares how he nearly lost a term sheet because his data room wasn't ready, how fundraising diligence changes as a startup grows, and why getting your financial house in order can help founders raise with more confidence and leverage. They get into what raising more than $1 billion across multiple companies taught Sasha about fundraising, why investors value founders who have a strong grasp of their company's financial reality. The financial metrics founders should know be. AI data startup Micro One reaches $500 million gross run rate amid AI training boom. The near-bottomless demand for unique AI training data from top labs and corporations is driving a massive boom for a cohort of data labeling startups. One of these fast-growing businesses is Micro One, a 4-year-old startup that expanded its gross annual run rate from $100 million to $500 million over the past 8 months, according to a person familiar with the company. Like its peers that hire domain experts such as doctors, lawyers, and scientists on a contract basis, Micro One retains roughly 60% to 70% of that figure, putting its net annual run rate between $150 million and $200 million. While Micro One still lags competitors like Mercer, which hit $2 billion in gross annualized revenue this summer, and Handshake, which reached $1 billion earlier this year, the startup's revenue growth shows that there is more than enough demand to support multiple players supplying AI training data. The rapid growth is bound to continue, with some researchers hypothesizing that future AI spending on data could rival spending on compute. That outlook bodes well for Micro One, which is seeing its contract sizes grow at an accelerated pace and expects its margins to expand over time. The startup is Inc. Senator asks U.S. government watchdog to review how feds use hacking tools. Democratic Senator Ron Wyden is asking the U.S. government to review how federal law enforcement agencies use hacking tools and spyware against Americans, citing a lack of transparency into how often or for what reasons these tools are deployed. On Friday, Wyden sent a letter to the U.S. Government Accountability Office, GAO, which audits the federal government, requesting it to launch a comprehensive inquiry into how the FBI, the Drug Enforcement Administration, ICE's Homeland Security investigations, and the Secret Service employ hacking and spyware in their investigations. In the letter shared with TechCrunch, Wyden wrote that while these tools have been used for more than 2 decades, there exists little public information regarding its scope, frequency, or operational safeguards. Wyden said that, unlike wiretaps and pen registers, which allow authorities to see when a call is placed, and to whom the government does not publish annual reports for hacking operations. For that reason, Wyden requested GAO to publish an unclassified report with its findings and recommendations. Federal agents have used hacking tools and spyware several times over the years, but as Wyden noted. That's all for this news briefing. Thanks for listening. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.